Howdy and aloha. Welcome to Manataq. The earth and you are ohana. We hope you stay and talk.
Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James with Montauk. Welcome. It is May the 26th of 2023. It just turned 26. All right, so thank you for being here. I'm going to go over what is going on right now and what is happening, what is really happening, and who's involved, and why is all this coming to fruition all of a sudden, or just magically appearing out of nowhere? And is it organic? Is it an accident? Or is it planted? Or is it all by design? And that's the biggest question that I think we need to ask is who's pulling all these strings? Well, let's take a look. If you go here to I think this is this is my Twitter page. And I recently found out that there's this thing that the World Economic Forum and all their partners, Vanguard, BlackRock, I mean, you name it, they're all kind of involved. Right? All these people here, right? G20, Vanguard, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, BlackRock, World Economic Forum, G7, Council on Foreign Relations, World Health Organization, NIH, CDC. Their number one goal, which many people are starting to finally understand and realize, right? Mass social control, mass depopulation, world central banking, which you couldn't say, I guess, a few years ago because you'd get taken down for just even mention that, or medical misinformation on all this other crap that they keep slamming people for, which is, against our First Amendment rights. But here are the people that really run the country, right? Here they are, right here. This is what it would look like if the government actually was transparent, right? If the government was actually transparent, right? And here it is, all these companies here, right? Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, GF right there, Rothschild Group, Raytheon, Chatham House, Foreign Accounts, Goldman Sachs. Um, they do not work for us, nor have they. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, let's come to that agreement, and that's the case. But what's happened recently is I was watching a guy on TikTok, and I really didn't even know this, and I was kind of humbled to know that, hey, Jimmy, you don't know everything, but your assumptions and your conclusions are basically spot on. Okay? And my assumption has been and always been, just by doing my own research, chickity, checking myself before I wreck myself, and doing my due diligence, all the chaos and turmoil that the 99.9% of the global population has and is enduring ever since flu-19 began, right? Let me just show you this. Flu-19 began is the product of the World Economic Forum, ETAL. ETAL, which I have to explain to people, is others and alike. Let's just say you're being served a summons or a subpoena, and there's not just you, but there's other people involved that were complicit to or have involvement in such crime or whatever you're being charged with, right? So the WEF, like I said, Klaus is just the front man. He's the Don Draper, the madman, but obviously opposite living. For the Amway Convention, which is basically these Davos, G20, G7, Bilderberg, etc., and all these meetings that are secret. These are people that help form and create bill, policy, laws across the planet, but they're all in secret, which is ridiculous and wrong. And that just kind of tells you who's really in charge, and it isn't us. We shouldn't allow any of our supposed public officials, legislators, judiciaries, executives, department heads, to have anything to do with this. But they do, and they really deeply do. As Klaus Schwab has said many times, or it's been taped, it's been, we have penetrated, which is a really disgusting word coming from that, Dr. Evil son of a bitch. Um, we penetrated, you know, uh, almost 200 countries with 3,000 members that have, following our orders. Right? Now I sound like fucking all sorts of. But anyway, so that's basically what happened. And when you look at like McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Hardee's, Carl's Jr., Del Taco, McDonald's. Greatest example, McDonald's. In-N-Out's awesome, way better than McDonald's. Um, that was the greatest form of multi-level marketing, which was you create a product, everybody duplicates it, duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Amway, you create a product, everybody duplicates the process, follow the orders, follow the marching orders, you know, go to the meetings, go to the Davos meetings that they have for Amway, and Mary Kay and all these other multi-level marketing, which is great. It's great for business and it's done good for commerce and other stuff. But when you apply it to politics and you apply it to a system that wants to be the authoritarian word of the planet or law of the planet, then you've got problems. You've got problems. So they've been involved with this for a long time, and as I've said, Klaus wasn't just the singular person that, registered the corporation or the NGO of the World Economic Forum. There was a lot of people involved with him. Many that came from the Third Reich, believe it or not. Many that came from different avenues of Hitler's old croonies or rat pack, in a sense, right? Um, it was basically Hitler's entourage, a section of them that moved over and created NATO, which is many people didn't even realize that. But if you need that information, I can send it to you. If you have any questions or anything, please just leave a comment or something like that. But here's the deal: 99.9% of the population, not including these parasitic, pedo, global elitist fucks, right, that are out there, and they're sick fuckers, right? They're sick fuckers. Um, we're the people going. They continuously, on purpose, oppress us. They continually, on purpose, give us or offer or control as much as they can to to make sure that your indoctrination process, which is most public schools throughout the world, is to be a good servant to the machine. That's always been the program. That's always been the program. A good servant to the machine. I think I want to put this up here from now on because I keep looking down. Yep, done. I'm going to start doing it up here from now on. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, and then I'll move it over here so it looks like I'm actually talking to you guys. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, 99.9% of the destruction, oppression, authoritarianism we're going through, the divide and conquer, all the stuff that we're going through is all planned. It's all by design. None of this is an accident. None of this is organic. Um, and here's why. And I've connected these dots on many occasions, and the latest one that I connected was just another one. Was just another dot I connected that basically indicates. And I was wondering because like I said, I was watching this guy on TikTok, and he brought up this title, this term, this index that they've been using since like 2015, 2016, that was implemented by the World Economic Forum, right? Believe it? Yes, yes. I'm telling you, these people are fucking. They're good. I fucking am telling you, and everybody just doesn't. Okay, I'll just keep going. Just try to stay up. So the corporate, so it's called the Corporate Equality Index, right? And some of the biggest companies out there hold other smaller companies or groups of companies hold other companies accountable or to that mark or or putting out that type of information or making sure that they're participating. Like I said, it's multi-level marketing, so you got to follow the process. You got to have the same product, make it the same, deliver it the same way. It has to be mimicked and duplicated over and over and over again. That's how McDonald's and other companies, that's a multi-level marketing process. So this is that process. This is that process, duplicating the system and then holding you accountable if you don't. So the Corporate Equality Index is a rating system created by the World Economic Forum, ETAL, and all of them. So if we're going to make people weaker, weaker, and weaker, or more malleable, or more obedient, or just limp, zombie like slave creatures, we need to get them on board on this. It'll also create division, which is our number one greatest tactic we always use, is division. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. Like I said, if you keep fighting each other, then you'll never know who the true enemy is. And it's the World Economic Forum. ETAL, everybody that's involved in that. This is the company you need to take down. I heard a legislator say he hated the WHO, but the WEF isn't the problem. No, the WHO and the World Economic Forum are they're Chinese, they're Siamese twins. They're connected to the hip. They're connected to the hip. So, what does the Corporate Equality Index or the HRC, which is the what does that mean? Homo Racial Committee or Campaign. Oh my god. Okay, it's had it in my head. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's like the gay rights campaign and all they boost LGBTQ. What they also boost the HRC or basically Kelley Robinson and also Alphonso David, which are the leaders, the big administrators of the equal sign, which I think is a good program. But they've been infiltrated. Like every freaking movement out there has been infiltrated by these people, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it because you have two groups now. You have gays against groomers, which is wonderful because they get it. If you're 4, 5, toddler, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you just want to play with your shoulder, your dolls, or your trucks, or he wants to make an easy bake oven pie. That's fine if but they don't need to be learning about sexual fucking crap at that age, which they still push, right? They now they're also at the same time demoralizing women tremendously because now men, not women, they're not if you say they're a man, a woman, if a guy walks in, okay, let me put it this way. So there's a race. It's the naked race at the swimming pool, right? And two guys walk in, two human beings walk in, right? And one's a woman, right? Obviously, she's naked. You can see her tits and her vagina and everything. There's nothing dangling there between the legs. And the other person walks up and says, "I'm a man. Excuse me, I'm a woman. I identify as a woman, a garbage can, a frog, a horse, whatever. Just fucking Jesus, right? You've just totally demoralized that person. You've taken all that person's training of that woman, that actual biological woman, and just made it uh, uh, totally demoralized it, and just totally just degraded it beyond belief. Right. So let's see that aspect. Now a lot of gays understand that. They're like, hey, we just want to be with our own, like being male on male, woman on woman, bisexual, whatever. That's fine. But when you start taking away from the actual biological person's um, validity, right, their purpose, uh, what they have as far as their entity. I'm a strong, athletic woman. I'm a strong, um, I'm a smart, whatever woman. Or I think you guys get the point. Well, which is really interesting is I don't see, pole dancing trans groomers going to, and here's a good point, going to old folks' homes and fucking dancing around. Has anybody seen that yet? Has anybody seen the pole dancers go to the fucking old folks home and dance? You don't think they want to see a little fucking show? No. This There's a difference between just having to explain this is just it's mind boggling and completely just unnecessary. Look, a man's a man, a woman's a woman. If a woman wants to dress up like a man and prance around, or go do it in a bedroom or outside or public, hey, it's a free world, it's a free country. Go fucking do it, right? But stay away from the fucking kids. Period. That's it. And if you want to do it as a man, stay out of the fucking woman's bathroom because you got a schlong. Use the fucking urinal. It's that simple, right? If I saw a fucking trans dude go in after my daughter goes into a bathroom, or my granddaughter goes into the bathroom, that guy, I'm going to go grab that fucker. I'm going to take him by the neck and I'm going to fucking curb stomp him against the fucking tile. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? That's just, you don't belong in there, you sick fuck. And that's the separation. I get that. But there's a lot of people in regards to the HRC that aren't seeing that process. They're actually being manipulated. They're actually being um, um, funded by these large corporations to continue this distractionary, nonsensical divide and conquer tactic, right? And Kelley Robinson and Alphonso David are all in on it, right? Now that they're compromised. I you know I that's a great pride sticker. I think that's very important, but just keep it away from the kids, right? And if you believe that, then you should stand with gays against groomers, which I think those people are fucking heroes in my opinion. But what I'm trying to really get to, and I got a little sidetracked there, it's all by design, okay? Because this is created all again through the World Economic Forum and their process. Mass social control, mass depopulation, and world central banking. Okay? So the thing is with this is this helps to keep us divided, this process. It helps to as a distraction. It also makes, I mean, there's another aspect of this too where, and I put it in one of my videos. I don't know if it was taken down or not, but I think it's still up. There's money to be made. Big hospital loves these mutilations of children, They get paid big money. How about the medications needed before and after? I'm sure you're going to need something. And they do have. There's several different prescriptions that they give you, and these hormone and hormonal pills and all this other crap that they give you. There's big money in this to turn you into something you're not, right? That you're not. Now, no, that you're not. If that's, you shouldn't have to take something, right, to help you think more of that way. If you're sexually attracted, if you're a man, sexually, emotionally, whatever, attracted to another other men, then that's wonderful. Then do your fucking thing. That's fine. If you're a woman and you have the same desires, then that's wonderful. Do your thing. I think that's great. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's been around since the beginning of fucking time. Look at Greek mythology, for God's sakes. These people were poking the shit out of everybody. It's crazy, right? But the thing is when you start involving the children, that's when it gets bad. And that's what the parasitic elite want. They want to make this normal. They want to make this like it's okay. Because these sick bazillionaire fuckers, they're sickos. They're sickos. Trust me, I've seen it in Hollywood. I've seen it in Southern California. There's some sick fucking bastards because they just don't have anything else to do. They've already done everything else. They're just gonna fucking start screwing, and abusing and pedophiling and all this other shit. And it's not okay. It's completely the opposite of okay. It's completely and totally wrong. But this is by design, by their design. Okay, because this initiated and came from Davos, right? As you can see, what does the Corporate Equality Index, HRC, PFA? Oh, I think that's the wrong post I have up. But yeah, just a second. This is the one I wanted. Where is it? Here it is, right here. All right. This is the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. Because I did one earlier, but I didn't. I get so once I find out something and it connects, or I connect the dots, I get excited and I start throwing it out there and it just kind of comes out. So this one's I need to calm down once, because when you're an investigative journalist, in a sense, like I think I am, not totally, not completely, but I'm constantly searching. I'm a hunter fucking gatherer, and I love doing this. I love finding out who the true criminals are. I love fucking going after, putting my crosshairs on these criminals, and letting you know how they're doing it, how they're thinking, what their process is, and the World Economic Forum, ETAL, and all of them alike are all a bunch of fucking criminals. What does the Corporate Equality Index and World Economic Forum have in common with Kelley Robinson, who handles the homo racial campaign, and the Planned Parenthood? And Planned Parenthood, which most people don't know, is strategically placed in low income and mostly black neighborhoods ever since it started. Just want to let you know. So there's 12% of blacks in the United States. There probably would have been about 2 or 3 times more had not the Planned Parenthood been around. Just to let you know. Just to let you know. That's a fact. Anyway, that have in common. Alphonso David was the older administrator, or the head president or whatever of the equality movement, the equal sign movement. Anyway, guys, sorry I didn't remember what the fucking. It's bad. I know it's bad. It's been on my sister's car like forever. It's been on my nephew's car like forever. I think I had it on one of my trucks at one time. I don't know. Supporting my nephew who came out as gay, which we do. But the thing is you're being used. You're being used by the World Economic Forum. I don't know what else to say. Um, and they're trying to spin it that it's okay. So this is how it works. Corporate Equality Index means that if you're not participating in, like I said, that same business model, you can get dinged and you might not get the funding or the support or the advertising and the marketing you thought you'd get, or access to that if your index isn't high enough. And who creates the index? Well, it's the World Economic Forum, it's BlackRock, it's State Street, it's Vanguard, right? It's all business, it's all money, but it's all total authoritarian control at the end of this rainbow. No pun intended. But let's go back to here, and I'll show you something that's really interesting. Um, and this was done. This is what. So this is what you're seeing, and this is what people are having to do. Um,
Wokeness. How stupid do you have to be to actually...
Now they're making... I'm seeing all these videos here are just ridiculous and stupid, and people are just... it's Kelly, John, Joseph, or whoever the hell this is. She seems to be... she's a professional tweeter. She's trying to get more likes. She's just getting into the niche. This is like a niche marketing search for these people. And she's kind of just going with it. And I'm seeing a lot of this. It's just ridiculous. It's wrong. How stupid do you have to be? Look, we already know that Ford and Etsy and Nike and a few other major companies that have gone woke are all have been participating in Davos for the past few years. There's part of that dot connected as well, because they're following the script, they're following the marching orders. But when you have these people out here, they're not helping. These people are just not helping anybody, because they don't. She probably doesn't know. Maybe I think I just need to send my information here and say it's real simple. Okay, let's play it just so you can know what these ding dongs are doing.
Think government, corporation, Hollywood, big tech, give a one single rap about you. Wokeness is a means to a dystopian, sanitized homogeneity, and it is a Trojan horse for the ultimate domination of our personal freedoms and sovereignty. If you participate in wokeness, you, my friend, are a fool. You're all full of shit. Martha's Vineyard thing was... we love all. Everybody's great. Collectivism. Okay, well, cool. Well, we're going to send you a bunch of immigrants, and maybe you can put them in your house. Oh, no. I'm going to need you to put them on a bus and get him the out of my neighborhood. That was the best thing I've ever seen. All bullshit. And the moment reality smacks you upside the little head, you ain't going to be woke anymore, my friend. I, too, used to be woke. Then I grew up, and I used my brain, and I realized it's all a scam. Can't save everybody.
Now, she's offending people left and right here, right? And she's just part of it, but I think she understands what's happening, and it's all a big scam. I agree to that. It is all a big scam, and they're just pinning us against each other, and most people don't even realize that part. But it's impressive. I'm telling you, and as I've been following this World Economic Forum and watching their every move, and and many others out there, everything they're doing is on their website. Everything that they're conjuring, creating, orchestrating, the chaos that's happening across the globe, socially, militarily, economically, infrastructural wise, it's all in their plan. I went over before in my last shows about the ESG, environmental social governance. Environmental social governance. Government that watches over you socially because of how you make choices environmentally. Right? And now they're making laws, which I'm going to play for you here. I'll grab it. Where the hell did I put that? Let's go to history. There it is. right there. Um, oh, wait. Window 2. Attack. Google. Nope, that's not. There we go. So this article here, this is interesting. You got to watch this because this is where they're going with this. This is how they want to push this, and this is why I'm trying to explain to everybody: don't buy into it. Just stop buying into this. Say no, fuck you, and your legislators, your judiciaries, your executives, especially your department heads, should not follow anything these people put out. They need to be removed. If somebody says I don't like the WHO, but the World Economic Forum is okay, no, that it's both. It's both. All right. So let's go to this. I'm gonna play this and let's go to the beginning.
Other one is a women.
All right.
All right, well, we're going to first talk about breastfeeding in Australia and how it is now illegal in Australia to say that men cannot breastfeed or should not breastfeed.
So if I say that in Australia, if I go there on a, well, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't seem like there is actually a law on the books, but what we're going to talk about is two women in Australia. One's a lactation consultant and the other one is a women advocate and a head of a women's advocacy group. Both of them wrote something on Twitter saying that men can't breastfeed, and they received notices from Twitter saying you were in violation of the law.
Look at that face. She's so cute. They're a cute couple to watch, I'll tell you. Which is where I was trying to go. Anyway, here's the thing. It's just out of control. It's out of control, man. So, okay. So here's the end. Let me wait. I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but let me get out of here and kind of show you another one. And we're having to do this too.
Good morning, Rita. Well, it's very likely that SB 14 will be signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott, which would essentially ban transgender care for minor children all across the state. So here at Texas Children's, they do offer... Good morning, Rita. Well, it's very likely that SB 14 will be signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott, which would essentially ban transgender care for minor children all across the state. So here at Texas Children's, they do offer... Good morning, Rita. Well, it's very likely that SB 14 will be signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott,
Why
which
is
would
it so
essentially
not
ban
loud?
transgender care for minor children all across the state. So here at Texas
That's what happens when
Children's,
you
they
retape
do
it over.
offer... Good
Okay,
morning,
we get
Rita.
it.
Well,
Fuck,
it's
let me
very
get out of here.
likely that SB 14...
All right. So, and the extremes of that. Right? So that's just more craziness and nuttiness for sure. Just more and more and more. Let me show you this one. Let me see. It may freeze any vacant child. Yeah, and I stated a while back, right? I wonder if I played this whole thing or I just posted this. I don't remember. Let me see. Yeah, it was silent. I just posted it. So, and this is before I knew about the CEI, Corporate Equality Index. The question that needs to be asked over and over again is who exactly is organizing, allowing, authorizing these PGA pedo-groomer attacks. These are pedo-groomer attacks against children. Just letting you know. On our children. Go up the chain of command and keep going up. Also find out where the money's coming from. Well, we found that out. Because that was a big question in my head. So I started doing some digging. So the Ford Foundation, Anheuser-Busch, Etsy, Nike, Jack Daniels, a few others, right? Ford Foundation says that winding down support for racial equality, which means that they don't care. People don't really understand that because they're going to continue to throw it in there some way, shape, or form. But if you don't buy Fords anymore because they're going pedo-groomer woke, which is what they want you to do it, and I'm telling you, do not think that they care about you being gay. They don't. They don't care about you being gay. They never have. They don't give a fuck about that. They just want to tear apart the family, right? And that could be yours too. At some point, I'm going to guarantee you that they're going to make it harder for gays to have kids or to have access to build families. Because I know that there are men out there and there are women out there, partners, etc., married, which is fine. That, you know, I shouldn't even have any say in that at all. That's, you know, you're right, of course, in my opinion. But the thing is they're going to attack that too. If you don't think that's the case, I'm telling you, because that's a unity thing. That's bringing people together. Whether it's a family of 2 women or a family of 2 men. Say if you wanted to have 6 kids, nope, can't have 6 kids. Why not? My parents had, actually, my parents, who knows how many kids my dad had. And who knows how many I had. But anyway, I'm just saying that in this particular realm of this Amway club, they're gonna bite you in the they're gonna use you, they're gonna abuse you like they've done over time, and then they're gonna chew you out and spit you out once they're done with you. Okay? Whatever movement you think you have, it's being compromised. Okay, whatever movement. Black Lives Matters was compromised. Occupy was compromised. The Tea Party was the Tea Party. People don't even know this. The Tea Party was just originally about people that just wanted land that they could harvest their own food on. That's how it kind of started. Excuse me. Their own water, having their own water, and they were for gun rights and hunting and having whatever they want. Yeah, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. And then all of a sudden, the Republicans came in, compromised it, and turned it into total shit. But every campaign out there gets, or every group, every society, everybody gets compromised. If you are starting to get more light shined on you from the media, from likes, from social media, they're going to make you an offer or they're going to try to take you down, right? And I'm telling you, when Budweiser, Etsy, who else was it? There was another one. Yeah. Anheuser-Busch, Etsy, Nike, Jack Daniels, Ford, and many of the others are connected to HIP of the World Economic Forum. Their newfound love of wokeness is not an accident. Right? I don't know how much. That's cool that picture came out like that on TikTok. That's kind of cool. Right? Now, I don't have a problem with that truck, honestly. If you want to drive around that color truck, that's fine. But you're also at the same time pushing the groomer thing. So that needs to be separated, right? That definitely needs to be separated. And let me see if I can find. Try to see. Human Rights Campaign. Kelley Robinson, president. How did I fucking idiot? Jesus. Kelley Robinson is African American community organizer who is currently president of the Human Rights Campaign. She was formerly the executive director of Planned Parenthood Action Fund. Okay? Wow. Now let me ask you something about Planned Parenthood. Okay? And I always throw this out there because I have to put it in here. It's important for you to think about this. if if you had a living wage, like back in the 50s, right? 50s, 60s, you had one income. Didn't really matter where you were working, right? It really didn't matter. But you could purchase a house, afford the car payment, afford the house payment, go on vacations, and raise a family. One income. Why was that? Because things were affordable. Everything was affordable. Healthcare, doctor's office, this, that, everything was pretty much affordable. And then they started getting these middlemen. Aetna, Blue Shield, Kaiser, right? These fucking just these middlemen and that's, anyway, I'm not going to get on all of that. But let's just say you had a living wage, a decent living wage. I'm not, per state, like right now it's $8.75 in fucking West Virginia. It's, the minimum wage hasn't been touched since 2009. It's fucking ridiculous, right? But most people won't work for that amount of money. People at McDonald's are hiring at $12, right? Everywhere you go, in order for you to work there, they're gonna hire you at over $10 or $11 an hour. They know that that's wrong. Nobody will come to work for that amount of money with the amount of prices and gas that it costs right now. Even though it is about a third cheaper to a half cheaper than it is in California, like Midwest, East, certain areas of the United States compared to the western side. Let's just say you had a living wage, okay? You had Medicare for all or single payer. You were able to get community college at least through the government to learn a trade, carpentry, like electrical, plumbing, aerospace technology, working on cars, stuff like that they would take care of for you, so you could have purpose and have a career that could help, or trucking, whatever you wanted to do, right? And that was all capable and able, and you could do it on single income, right? And you could have 1, 2, 3, 4 kids too, right? And there was some tax relief on how many kids you had, or whatever the case may be, right? If you were able to have all that, which you've not been given at all, right, which has never happened, right, because in 2008, for 76 days, 75, 76 days, the Democrats had the supermajority in the House and the Senate, and they had Obama. And what happened? What did they give you? Obamacare, which turned out to be just a monopolization of big pharma and these big middlemen companies, Aetna, Blue Shield, Kaiser, whatever, you name it, right? And it's never been affordable for anybody. But let's just say they gave you all the things I discussed, living wage, health care, at least community college or trade, something like that, right? And we, the taxpayer, kind of helped you get through that, which is fine. We'll pay a few cents on the dollar to help our fellow human beings. I'm okay with that. Getting the country to be stronger, making sure that NAFTA is gone, and most of our work is done in the United States. So there's got to be a few things that kind of got to play together with this for it to really work. So that when you do graduate, you're going to start working for an American company that does American things, which I think is a part that strengthens America, which I think is huge, which needs to start happening, and it needs to happen quickly. But let's just say that's available. And you had full comprehensive health care. That means mental, dental, vision, health, everything, right? And you had pre-care, which means you were able to go to the gym or sign up for softball, and you got a tax write-off, or you were active, or you were paddling canoes, or you bought this year you bought and used you played softball, co-ed softball, and you were doing healthy, wonderful things, and you're doing, and you're eating organic, and you're taking care of yourself, there should be a benefit for that, right? There's a benefit for yourself for that, because that's actually beneficial for you and yourself. But let's just say there's a government involved, and they want to just kind of help you along and whatever. This is more of it's kind of a socialistic thing, which let's put it in that aspect. So all of a sudden you have the ability to take care of yourself, grow your own family, and you can be single, or gay, or straight, or heterosexual, whatever. But you can do it. Right, and then also the big thing is let's just say the wars go away. All of a sudden we're just like, you know what? We don't need to have 800 to 1,000 bases all over the country, because China only has 20 and Russia has like 8. Right? So that's a clear indication of who is the real terrorist out there, of course, as well. But let's just say you had all those things, and life was good. It feels like the 50s, the early 60s, right? You got this big car, you're doing fine. You're having barbecues on the weekends with your friends, neighbors, and family members. You're going on trips and vacations to Hawaii or the Bahamas or Toronto or BC, Canada, whatever, Alaska, I don't know, and things are good. How many shootings would there be? How many shootings would there be? How many people how many people would be shooting each other? How many people would be aborting babies? Which I'm not against, right? I just think, and I think 11 weeks is enough time to decide, because after 11 weeks, the abortion pill doesn't work. And I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to fucking go through that. Especially at 10 or 11 weeks. Because I am firsthand telling you that is a fucking nightmare. Okay? So if you don't know if you want to have this kid or not, by, I don't know, a week or 2 or 3 or 4, or at least 11 weeks, right? Then that's up to you. And I'm okay with that. Right? That's up to you. That's up to you. I'm just saying. That's where I stand. But that's enough time for you to make a decision. Am I capable? Can I do this? But would you want to if you knew you had a job where you could afford it? Where you could have your cake and eat it, grow your own family. Right? Of course you wouldn't. I'd say 80% of the women on the planet would be fine. Fucking do me. Right? But that's not what they want. That's overpopulation, which is becoming a problem. And I talked about that in one of my other shows. That's a huge problem. Probably, I think last week, the week before. But that's what I'm saying. And there's no wars. There's, the PTSD is not really prevalent, which is gonna, it takes a while to subside and get away from that. But there's nobody really would have a reason to argue, bicker, fuss, and fight. That's not the way they want it. That's not the way they want it. The way they want it and the way they put everything is all in the plan. And it's really hard for people to wrap their heads around this very simple fact. It's not an accident, right? It's not organic, right? We know what organic is. We do. I mean, because once the mainstream media starts to talk about it, bring it up, mention, then it's not organic. I'm just letting you know. It's probably bullshit or a lie. And if you're still believing MSNBC and Fox and BBC and PBS and Reuters and New York Times and LA Times and even the Register in Orange County or wherever, and not doing your own research or own due diligence and talking to the source, find out from the legislator what they're talking about. Talk to their interns. You might get their executive intern, which one of them hung up on me because she thought I was against certain things, and my phone number was from California. It was fucking hilarious. I called back and I go, that addiction just hung up on me because I had a different perspective and I had information that was kind of frustrating. What was her name again? It was Amy. That was her name. I still remember to this day. She got upset. It was something about the Restrict Act. That's what it was. And I think I was talking to, I think it was Josh Hawley's, because Josh Hawley was pushing the Restrict Act, and I talked to one of his, Emily or Amy or anyway. And I was just saying, so what you're doing is exactly what China did to the people that own TikTok. They banned it. So you're China now? Well, I see that your phone number's from California. I go, what? I go, I want freedom of speech. Don't you want freedom of speech? And she goes, do you have anything else? I go, well, I'd like to. And she hung up. And I was going to say I'd like to point out some other information that I think is really hypocritical of you guys to do this. You're going after Twitter, which I thought was interesting. They're going after Twitter, and they're trying to expose that they weren't allowing people to have their freedom of speech on Twitter, yet they're going after TikTok, which is not even the name TikTok isn't even in the bill, the Restrict Act. But let's get back to this. So again, all of the chaos, turmoil of the 99%, the global population has and is enduring ever since flu-19 began, is the product of the World Economic Forum, ETAL. Yes, Klaus Schwab is just the front man of their Amway Convention, Davos, G20, G7, Bilderberg, etc. But make no mistake, their tyrannical agendas are still being obeyed by thousands of their governmental servants. They've compromised abroad. This is still happening. The head of their snake is their devoted members. Right? It's not just one, society of people, cult, clan, whatever you want to use, demonic, witch burning, whatever the fuck it is. Okay, no matter how you slice it, I always tell everybody, look, no matter how you slice what group or plan or where you think you're from, or let's just say skull and crossbones, right? Or let's just say the Illuminati, or let's just say the satanic people, whatever the fucking case may be, right? Who makes the last decision? I think you need to understand that. I think people, because I'm responsible for my own actions. No matter if I'm, and I've had over my life living in LA and close to LA and Orange County, next Disneyland and LA are like right next to each other, and all these gangs, hey man, come and join our gang. Yeah, I don't want to, I was my own gang. Okay, and I think you should be too. You're stronger individually than you are with a group. And I'm telling you, it's hard for people to wrap their hands around this. Because when that's indicated, then you're not responsible for what they do and fuck up. Right? So if they fuck up and do something stupid, which the World Economic Forum is definitely stepping on their own feet in the past few years, and it's going to come to a point where they're going to completely, I believe if this is done right, they'll be completely annihilated in a sense, or I don't know how you take a company apart. There's a damn word for it. Disseminated, I don't know. There's a fucking term for it, and it's not coming to me yet, but it's very important that you realize that the goal here for them, right, is to keep their brand and their multi-level marketing process going. And they're trying to divide and conquer you. As I've said, you'll never know who the true enemy is if you keep fighting each other. And the true enemy is the World Economic Forum, right? It's the hub of where all this chaos comes from, where all this nonsense, where all this craziness comes from. right? Yes, there are people in that entity or Amway company or whatever the fuck, right? NGO corporation, um, membership shit. That's just part of how it it's marketed basically. And like I was saying before, is no matter what cult, what group you're with or whatever, you need to step back and see where they're going, right? Are we supporting, I mean, if you're with the Human Rights Campaign, HRC, do you want grown men with with penises and testicles, hairy penises and testicles, in thongs and projectile type things going to children's classrooms? If you're okay with that, then there's something maybe wrong with you, or maybe you are sick in the mind. Who knows? But from my perspective, that's way too much. That's just way too fucking much, right? Leave the children alone, and that's everything. Fucking the Kool-Aid jabs, um, all this other shit. Just, when I see children like a 10 or 12-year-old, going on national television, and the parents were like letting this, no, they shouldn't even be there. That shouldn't be what they're doing. They should be working on their math skills, their English skills, digging up bones somewhere, or going to a tide pool and learning about, hey Jordan, hey yo, bro, how you doing, buddy? Or learning about, marine science, the things that are out there, learning about the reef, the kelp, the creatures, how they do things, learning about nature, going hunting. Believe it or not, I'm telling you, they need to learn how to do basic things, how to protect yourself out in the wilderness, fires, how to go out and camp and fire, and learn how to, which was really cool. I did this at a Cub Scout. We on how to put out a fire, what to do afterwards. So when after the fire, you have to douse it, and if you don't have water, you got to use as much dirt as possible, and pack it right with dirt, and then you have to wait. You have to wait at least 15 minutes, to see if it reignites, even though it's deep buried in the ground, because sometimes it can smolder in there. It's still getting oxygen, and it could start to inflame again or spread out. So you have to wait and make sure the smoke is completely gone. Okay. But these are little things that you should learn. There's so many wildness and wilderness things, and learning the ocean and the currents, being more connected with the earth, learning how to sew, for men and women, for girls and boys, learning how to do so many other things out there. Ace Narcana, I'm pretty sure that my student didn't want to see me doing my math skills, and I thought, yeah, well, maybe some did. Who knows? You never know, Snork. You never know. But anyway, so there are a lot of things like learning engineering, learning electrical. I definitely, when I was doing construction, I was doing drywall. I was painting first. I was a laborer for a while. And then all of a sudden I started putting up drywall, and then I started doing the plumbing, I started doing some electrical. I can do a three-way switch and a few other things. I'm not perfect. I know a few codes. That's about it, but I'm not great. But I do have a good assortment of tools. I used to have a bunch of tools but I don't want to go into that. But learn these trades. The guy I work for is Ken. I'm just going to say Ken, and his son was Chris. His son was like 15 or 16. And this kid knew more than I did about construction. It was amazing because his dad worked construction. And he and I, Chris, used to go out. Ken would send him and his son out to do jobs. So we go do a job, done. We do that, we used to bust out jobs. The cool thing that we used to do is the older buildings that we used to go into, because we were going to redo the wiring. We used to take out all the copper and all the wires, and we used to go fucking take the aluminum and the steel. We'd stick them in the back of an old 470 Volvo, a 47D or 40D Volvo, which had the DeLorean engine. My Volvo had the DeLorean engine in it, which is really cool. It's fucking fast. We used to stuff it in the back truck, stuff it in the back seat, and we used to take it to the recycling center and make bank. Like every week or two, we'd get some big score like that. But it was cool to learn these things, and this kid was very knowledgeable. You know, I think everybody should learn basic carpentry tools, basic electricity, basic plumbing, engineering, machining, die cast, 3D printing, like Snork. God, I keep forgetting to get one of those goddamn things. I don't know what I'd make. I would probably make, like, I don't know, cartoon characters or something. I don't freaking know. Oh, I think I know what I'd make. Lots of little gadgets. But we need to get back more to the basics, in my opinion. I think there's too much technology in cars these days. I know that there's a more efficient way for cars to burn fuel, and it's already been indicated and used through reventilation systems, and I don't want to go into all that. But there's a lot of things that need to be done that need to come back out. And I was kind of going off that. But let's get back to what I was originally thinking, and this is going into a long time here. So back to this, yes. So the head of their snake is their devoted members. And I just want people to understand there's a connection here, as we've indicated, as I've shown right here, when it comes to see the which one did I put? And here's the connection. I'm going to play it, and then that's it. And I got to go. But thank you guys for being here. Take care. It's Thursday. I'll be on either Monday or Tuesday, probably definitely Tuesday of next week, and I'm going to go over this and maybe something else that I'm gotta get going. All right, but thank you for stopping by, guys. Here it is. Here's the plan, people.
This is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world. It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that, sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse and creating energy and food resources for everyone? And the answer is no, it really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. Because when systems don't meet, when they're out of balance or not in sync with one another, they can't be controlled centrally. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world government and total control from a central unit. Every nation that signed on to Agenda 21 has its local Agenda 21 plan. People in the United States are completely unaware of this. If I go out and talk about this, the United States press attacks me and calls me, which is totally ridiculous. It is but it's not a theory. It's a fact. The three pillars of United Nations Agenda 21 are economy, ecology, and equity, the three E's. And everyone sort of thinks that they know what that means, the idea of social equity. It must mean that, well, everyone's going to have access to clean water and clean air, and no one's property is going to be used as a dumping ground because they are at a poverty level. But really what social equity is about impoverishing huge portions of the population and bringing down the developed nations. Everything that we're looking at now is destined to collapse our economies. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world. And what major corporations want in this...
I don't know if she's... I'm just going to let's just hear the whole thing. It's 5 minutes.
Development is to be able to have full movement of workers without borders or boundaries, to be able to move their goods through without regulations, and to reduce wages. And so this is the goal. So this is what you find with social equity. And of course, economy and ecology is about, these are the three circles: economy, ecology, and social equity. And where they meet in the center is balance. But really that balance is a communitarian balance. So it's not balance of well-being of the people. What it is it's a balance for corporations so that they can exploit and control and have populations in an area, in tightly packed, dense areas, so that they can be surveilled and managed. And this is what that balance looks like as far as the development of a totalitarian state is. The mainstream media is owned by 5 major corporations, and you're not going to get this information from the mainstream press. So you need to be your own press. You need to educate yourself. You need to get out there and educate your neighbors, your community, your real community. You need to help your children understand that they're being indoctrinated from pre-kindergarten to postgraduate school. All of us have a responsibility to ourselves and to others. This is true community, to work for personal freedom. And always remember that even though we work as a group, if we do work as a group, we're all individuals in those groups, and we answer only to ourselves. And this is essential. It's essential as free human beings. This is what we are. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. And I do believe that we will win, but we have to become aware that there is a fight, and then make our friends and our neighbors and our community aware as well, and work together.
Okay, so the biggest thing that she's not talking about is this one. All right? It's this one right here. It's the mass depopulation, because you can't control 8 billion people. I don't care what kind of company or who you are. So that's currently in process with the CULA that they've been giving out, but it really looks like a lot of that, the body's starting to resist it, and I don't think it's working well in many people. Some, sorry, it's not working well for many, but the point that I'm trying to make is these people are in it, right? These people are part of it. I don't care what you tell me or what you say, you will know who they are. If anybody says that they don't have a problem with the World Economic Forum, then they need to go, because they know exactly what they're doing. They need to be removed. Yeah, moving out in the farm fields is good, Snork, for sure. Anybody in this room or in this area or in this place in DC, if they say I don't have a problem with the World Economic Forum, you need to get rid of them. If they say I don't care about them, no, I mean, do you think they should be disbanded? That's the word I was saying. They should be disbanded, for sure. Their entity is just their agenda is horrific. They definitely want you gone. That is their goal, is for you to no longer exist. It's harder to manage a, a, a few million, than it is to manage um, 8 billion. That's for sure. So that's why they've been going after people for a long time. They've been trying to lower the population so they can get you to the bugs, so they can get you to you'll own nothing and be happy, right? This was in 2016. Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. That's their slogan. That's what they're trying to do. That's one of their agendas, right? And they're also stating now that Swedish scientists advocates eating humans to combat climate change, right? They're advocating this. You remember, World Economic Forum is the climate change hub of all that crap, right? We all need to hold our legislators, judiciaries, executives, and department heads accountable for assisting and allowing the World Economic Forum to commit crimes against humanity, destabilize economies, starve nations, and to have them designate the World Economic Forum, ETAL, as a global terrorist group. That's what they are. That's what they are. That's what I keep saying. And people don't really realize it, because in 2020 they put out, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. This is how our world would change by 2030. And then Klaus Schwab says, World Economic Forum urges public to eliminate ownership of private vehicles, so you won't have your own private vehicle anymore, right? The other big one this was on their website. This is on their website, right? This is on their website. This would be placed at a large Lagrange point, which means between the Earth and the Sun. That is a point in space where the Sun and the Earth's gravity balance each other out, and they want to put a fucking balloon. They want to use a giant balloon to block out the Sun. This is per the World Economic Forum's website. This is what one of their things is. It's fucking crazy. World Economic Forum promotes plan to block sunlight with a space balloon. This is sick. That's my own writing in here. This is interesting and remarkable of the day, and this is done by a guy by the name of Nan Winden, and he does the report on this. And then, of course, you have Nicole Kidman, Iron Man, Colbert, Angelina Jolie, telling you scientists say that the cockroach milk is 3 times more nutrients than the cow's milk, which is bullshit. Because Snork already said, and I've had millions of people say, that's not the same fucking milk. We have not been using that milk forever. Our livers are not created for this shit. Okay? Birds' livers are. A bird's liver, a bird's stomach, a bird's lining, where they're created, is made for this. So Big Chemical wants you to kill the bugs, and the World Economic Forum and Hollywood want you to eat the bugs. This is fucking nuts. This is just part of it. This is just part of what they want. If you have any questions, or if you think I'm full of crap, this is real. Yeah, and Snork just said right there, he's one of the greatest engineers I've known, besides my grandfather was a great engineer, is that this is a very bad idea. The Lagrange points. Look, the Earth is a very large, giving, wonderful thing. And it's doing fine. The only problem I have is the pollution, for sure. Nuclear, for sure. Fracking, for sure. and how we're handling our pollution and how we're not doing it. I don't know why we're just not sending it to fucking the moon, right? Having giant plants or manufacturing plants or something of that nature on the moon that to create a fucking platform spaceship. And Elon Musk is full of shit, because I would use the moon as the launching pad to go anywhere on the planet. I think I think God gave it to us for that, to be used that way. That happened in a lot of our endeavors, or a lot of our voyaging, right? But like I'm saying in this segment here, people, right? This right here is compromise. Tea Party's compromise. Occupy was compromised. Black Lives Matter was compromised. Okay. Human rights campaign, compromised. Compromised. Right? I know you guys don't believe that. I know most of you don't believe that there should be a 38-year-old male with his private parts hanging out entertaining children. Please tell me. If you're into that, then I don't want anything to do with you. Oh, that's freaking awesome. We should talk about that sometime. But anyway, so like I've always said, it's your actions, people, right? It's how you. At the end of the day, it's your choice, right? At the end of the day, it's how you like. Here's some choices that Nancy Pelosi made, by the way. In the last week, 4 members of Congress filed over $2 million worth of trades. Dan Goldman, Kathy Manning, Scott Franklin, and Louis Franklin. Oh, by the way, their yearly salary is $174,000. That's amazing. Where do they get all this fucking money? Yeah, we need to dock their pay, because obviously they're not doing their job at all. And there's so much more I could go through in regards to this, but that's it. All I gotta say is, look, at the end of the day, you make the choices, right? At the end of the day, it's up to you. There's nobody else out there that's gonna tell you, look, for example, let's just say you're married, right? And you want to go out with your friends. Well, that's cool, but let's just say you drink too much and something happens between you and somebody else. Well, is it that person's fault that they were able to take advantage of you, or is it your fault that you drank too much? Or maybe you didn't bring your husband because you didn't want to. So you cheated. Right? It's ultimately your, absolutely, totally, and completely your decision. End of story. Right? It's either you wanted to, or you thought you could do it and get by with it. But the point I'm trying to make is, you're not going to get by. Usually, no matter how smart these criminals are, they usually get caught. They usually get exposed. I mean, let's go through all the fucking things that we've seen and realized and proven to be completely true, that we thought were conspiracy theories, which I'm proud of, because other AKA conspiracy theories are spoiler alerts. Conspiracy theory equals spoiler alert. Let's keep that in mind. Right? Russiagate was bullshit. January 6th was orchestrated and bullshit. 9/11 was bullshit. I'm still questioning the moon a little bit. To Kill Mockingbird, Operation Paperclip. I mean, there's just tons of JFK. I mean, there's so many examples of the shit that we've done. And by the way, in the past 250 years that we've been a country, this nation has killed over 20 million people and counting, civilians and army personnel in other countries, civilians and army. Over 20 million people and counting. Yeah. All I'm saying is that I know we want to be great again, but do we want to be great for us, or do we want to be great for some parasitic elitist? Yeah, it does seem kind of low. I think it's more than that. Because what's interesting is that Russia, when Russia helped us, we helped them and they helped us fight Germany and the Nazis in the early 40s, 1940s, late 30s, early 40s, early 40s, anyway, 40 million people died to help us. That's including civilians, mostly troops. 40 million, right? And I think maybe 400,000 to 500,000 people, soldiers died on our side. That's a huge sacrifice. And Russia's the enemy. Yeah, 20 million last 10 years sounds right. All right, I'm tired. Take care, Snork. Good having you on. I'll be on either Monday, definitely Tuesday. I think Eric will be on then, and we'll have a nice discussion. We're going to have some other people. I'm going to let Kelley, I think, is going to stop by. I'll let her know. I got to give her a day in advance. Anyway, but it was great letting you guys know about what's really going on out there, and that we need to let we need to definitely let these people know that they're being used, right? They're being used. They're not being used in the way they should be. And I'm all for their rights, all that stuff. I support it fully. But stay the fuck away from children. Okay? Period. Right? Right? Just let them play with their toys and their video games and have their softball games and their baseball games at the YMCA and stuff like that. Let them do their shit. Enjoy being kids first. Right? Like I said, and this is what this show is about. What does the Corporate Equality Index and World Economic Forum have in common with Kelley Robinson and Alphonso David of the Human Rights Campaign and of Planned Parenthood? As I've said, Trans-Pedo-Grooming, divisive narratives, and depopulation are not organic or an accident. It's by design, right? And then down here it clearly states HSR released corporate election, and this was at Davos, right? That was they had their fucking meeting at Davos, right? Here it is. HRC releases corporate equality index in Davos. Wow. And everybody's following suit. That's why you're seeing this everywhere. But it's not profitable and it's not smart, and it is divisive. So we just need to, HRC either needs to come out and say we don't want a fucking man dressed up as a woman competing in their sports. We don't want a man dressed up as a woman flailing around their junk to fucking children. And we don't want these fucking books that have nothing to do with a child's enrichment or life, right? Unless you're trying to groom them in a certain direction. And that's what this is for. Just like the whole indoctrination process of our public school system, which a lot of people, have a hard time getting out of. It is really tough to think outside of the box and become your own businessman, because you've been trained and indoctrinated to just work for somebody, and that's what it's supposed to be. get good grades, graduate, get a good job, work for somebody, work for a company, work for the government, and that's it. But don't start your own business. It's hard. I'm telling you, it's a mental thing. It's been imprinted and branded into my head. And I tried a few businesses when I was younger. I'm going to be trying this real estate thing pretty soon, which is it's not realtor. It's more like headhunter, not literally. But anyway, other things are happening, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for listening and participating to Monotalk. But I'm going to tell you right now, none of these. It's all by design, and they don't care about you. The thing I need to tell people the most is this direction, this orchestration, this pre-planning is so far up the chain that when the shit gets bad and it gets wrong and it gets terrible and it becomes totally dystopian, authoritarian, you're not going to be included. You're not going to get the pass for this. They're not going to reward you. They're going to take you down to their goal is to take everybody out, as many as they can, except for their robotic, basically minions. Aloha. Thanks for watching Monotalk.